Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 80 of my modded Factorio playthrough. Now that we've got all the accumulators set down, at least the ones that we have, we need to wait for more to be built. And in the meantime, there's some efficiencies we can do. So let's get back to the base. Well, first thing we can do, it's a little substantial, but what we can do is increase our ore processing efficiency. And there's a path that we haven't gone down yet. The Metallurgy path. Or at least Metallurgy 2. Now, standard Metallurgy 2 here just unlocks the faster machines. But that's not specifically what we want. What we want is Iron 2. Or Iron Smelting 2. And that's going to unlock new methods of producing iron. Now, kind of the intermediate step here, the new step, is to take standard iron ore and process it into processed iron. You see 2 iron ore go into a processed iron. And then, to turn that processed iron into ingots, we have the additional step of using coke. But since 2 iron went into a processed iron, that means we're putting 16 iron in and getting 24 out. So that's an efficiency increase. Right now we're putting 24 in to get 24 out. They also open up some other options here. It's not really an alloy, but you can think of it as that, where we use 2 different types of ingots to make iron. We'll worry about that later. See how we can use manganese ingots and iron ingots to make iron plates. And here we can add silicon. So that's a way of reducing the amount of iron you use and using something else that presumably you have extra of. And the ability to make powder for additional processing steps. And a sheet coil is a way of compacting iron, because 10 molten iron becomes 1 plate. So essentially we have 8 plates being compressed into 2 coils. So it's a 4 times smaller, or a fourth of the size, which is it's kind of an ordeal to set that up, but it's something we'll definitely do in the future. And then here's how you turn that coil back into plates. So that's just kind of an overview of that. Right now, the part I'm looking for is just increasing the efficiency of our iron ore and just getting more iron ore for what we mine. And there's 2 prerequisite machines. First, the ore processor. It's a simple machine we can make, but this is what turns iron ore into processed iron, so let's research that. In the meantime, is there anything else we can do with the factory? A little bit. Let's check out the reverse factory and see how it's doing. Pretty good. Looks like it's filled up. And the process continues. But what I was thinking of are these wood pellets, which we have sitting here from when we redid the carbon dioxide production into plastic production. We can actually use these up. Now that we have a bunch of bricks again. Let's see if we have any spares inside here. Doesn't look like it. I know we keep doing this, but this is just an efficient way of putting these bricks back into circulation. Alright, let's make a circuit network right here. And say the enabled condition. This brick has to be less than 100. Okay, ore processing is done. Probably gonna need some of these bricks fairly shortly. Let's just throw those in there for now. Put the rest inside the truck. Alright, let's search iron 2 again. And the other prerequisite is the strand casting machine. I believe this is what we would use to make the coils. We don't need this machine right now, but it is a prerequisite for iron 2, so we're going to have to research it. So if we look at bioprocessing, we actually do have a use of wood pellets. We can make carbon dioxide. Or we can make wood bricks, but we don't really have a fuel problem right now. And we're storing carbon dioxide right here. So we can just kind of temporarily turn off these machines and fill it up with the pellets instead. We're going to need a liquefier. This is a temporary location, so we can just put it right there. Hook it up with pipes. And we need a container. There we go. Now I don't want this thing to completely fill up, but I want this one to definitely have priority. So let's fill this tank up to, let's say up to 100,000 with this, and then if it gets above that, turn off. So we can probably just connect it right there. Let's say carbon dioxide is greater than 100,000. Or less than 100,000. There we go. There we go. So this one's always going to run. We just need some extra space in here for the carbon dioxide that's coming from our brick production, which we don't seem to be making many clay bricks, but nonetheless. That'll just use up all those pellets and just be a little bit more efficient than what we were doing before. So, why not? So we can put the extras back in this machine. Since we're holding on to these solar panels, we might as well put some semi-permanent locations for these to be stored, just so it's not too confusing. Strand casting is done. Looks like the inventory's pretty clean already, but there's some stuff we can put in there. Okay, now that the strand casting is done, we can now do our iron smelting too. So let's research that. Let's check out the factory, see how things are going. Brief glimpse at things. Nothing looks out of the ordinary. How are we doing? Accumulators, 332. I'm gonna wait until there's a decent amount in there before we go out again, just to save trips. There's kind of no point in putting them down now, because you see it's 1650, the sun's about to start setting, so we're not going to get a whole lot of light out of them, a whole lot of storage or anything, so it's probably best every morning to check the panels and to install them and go from there. But we've got lots of wood. There we go. That's a clean inventory. Looks like the inventory's pretty good. There's not a whole lot we need to grab, but some pipes would be nice. So, might as well grab a stack of those. Gonna use them eventually. Battery production is good. Let's see, where would be a good spot to look at the ratios? Probably right here. Let's wait for that research to complete. I need some electric poles. Okay. So we have the advanced iron smelting, and we're ready to go with that. And in the meantime, let's get Metallurgy 2. This is just going to unlock the faster machines. It looks like they're steel and tier 2 circuit machines, so these are all things we can produce now. And that'll be a pretty big efficiency increase, and just a speed increase to all of our machines by replacing those. Alright, let's figure out some ratios. Let's grab all the necessary machines. Casting machines, induction furnaces. I think that's that. Now the first step in this is going to be the ore processor, and we need stone, but there we go. Alright, so at the output of these ore sorters, we're getting our iron ore. So the first step is to process that iron ore into processed iron ore. And there's our thing right there. And then the next step is to send that into a blast furnace. Which looks like we are short on iron. Oh, we're completely out of... Wait, no. Oh, this is the crushed stone, so we're fine. It's like there's no red light there. Looks like we're okay for now. Alright, that should be enough. Let's make that blast furnace. Alright, so the second step is the blast furnace. You see how there's two different recipes here, so it can get a little confusing. This is the standard recipe, 24 iron in and 24 ingots, but we want the advanced one, which uses processed iron. And some coke. And from there, the output is essentially the same. It's still 24 iron ingots. So that's really the extent of Metallurgy 2 here, or of the iron processing 2. There we go. Now these machines can't be upgraded. You see they're not included in this. But the blast furnace is. So let's upgrade our blast furnace. And it looks like it's a 50% increase, speed of 1 to 1.5. So let's just put that there. So let's calculate what this is going to need. 8 iron every 4 seconds times 1.5. So 3 iron a second. Or 3 processed iron anyway. And this machine right here, it produces 2 every 2. And it works at a speed of 1. So that means we need 3 ore processors per blast furnace. And since we're here, let's create a pattern we can use. The setup over here has the iron coming in down here. So let's assume that is still true. So if we put our 3 ore processors, and looks like they're going to be the space limiting thing, so let's jam them as close as possible. We have our 3 machines, and they are at a speed of 2 every second. So that means they need to have a blue inserter going in, and then a speed of 1 a second coming out. There we go. If we put that right there, that will allow us to put red, red, and red as input. And then the output of this machine will be, let's just put some belts here. I'm not sure if we want yellow or red yet, but let's just put the yellow belts there. The 24 every 4 seconds is 6, but the speed of 1.5, so that's 9. And 9 divided by 2.3 is 3.9, so almost all of the 4 inserters, blue inserters here. So let's do a regular, regular, and near, and near. Now there's one other aspect to this, is that we actually need to start consuming coke now. And it's not as difficult as it sounds because the blast furnace needs fuel to run. So although coke isn't the most efficient fuel to use, all we have to do is get coke to it and not worry about it. And we were already previously getting fuel here, so it's not going to be that big a deal. So let's just say this is where the coke's going to be. I don't know if that's the final location, but let's just say it is. And it needs 2 coke every 4 seconds times 1.5. That's 0.75. So that's almost all the output of a yellow. It should be enough because it's going to consume some of that for fuel, but it doesn't really use that much in fuel, so that should be enough. And let's get some poles in here. That looks pretty symmetrical. And probably a light right in the middle. There we go. So this is going to produce 9 ore a second. Let's see, do we have any spare blueprints in the blueprint book? Yeah, we don't really need this one anymore. Because now we're using accumulators, so let's pick that up and then use the robots to clean it out. Let's check the electrical network and see how the steam backup is working. Looks like it's working pretty effectively. I mean, we ran out of accumulator charge, and that's to be expected. We don't have nearly enough. So far, so good. And the sun's going to start coming up soon, so before we start placing down our improved iron setup, this is probably a good opportunity to do some accumulators. We're going to have to do some math for each one of these. Small panels, we already had too much, so we didn't need any. Looks like we're done with the large panels. So we can just stick those in there. And the medium panels, 136. So that's 523 remaining. Probably need to fill this up with power poles and lights and all that. There we go. Back up our way to the accumulators. Let's grab a bunch. I don't know if I have enough room in the inventory for it. Might not. We are carrying some extra barrels, which are not necessary. Some batteries. We don't really use those very often. Might as well just stick them in this machine. I think that's going to be enough. Okay. 534. Which is 1782 remaining. And let's throw them all in there. Not sure where. Probably should put them all here. It's kind of a large distance to move with the mouse, but let's just dump them all right here. I don't know if it's necessary to block these off, but let's do that anyway. And I believe that's all we need to do. So let's go place them down. Oh yeah. Forgot that probably should have taken them out of the truck to begin with, because now the robots are going to be running behind schedule, but they'll get the job done anyway. Looks like we're short on some small panels. We'll need to grab some. Also, it helps to wait till daytime to start placing panels down, because that way we have solar panel for the robots, or solar power for the robots. Oh, let's just let all the robots jump out. Fix what needs fixing there. Meanwhile, we need to, looks like, pick this up. And then this one. This one. Don't have to do it this precisely, but I guess why not? in the blueprint book. There we go. We should be able to just kind of drop it in place here. There we go. Looks like we're short on some small panels over there as well. Electricity is so far so good. Resources, yeah, running low on the mediums. Yep, and now we're charging the accumulators. Probably need a location for the small panels. Put them right there. Is that all the robots? Almost. There he is. Oops, wrong direction. Wrong direction. Can we make 2 mediums with on-hand supplies? Yes. Just that doesn't mess up the calculations. Oops. Guess that's what I get for staying so close to the panels. Right in the middle seems good. Something like that. Let's start placing stuff down. So we're out of medium panels, but let's not let that stop us from placing at least all of the accumulators down. Those are kind of the important things here. Small panels? We're gonna run out of small panels pretty quickly. Looks like we can do 2 more rows before we run out of smalls. Still got a tiny bit of accumulators left over. Might as well use them up. Lots and lots of energy stored now. Let's see, let's use the last bit right here. Guess we can pick up the extras. Okay. We'll have to see how that lasts through the next night. But in the meantime, let's go upgrade our iron production. That's all the time we have for this episode, so I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.